Alright guys, welcome back to another video in scientific rankings. In this video, I want to talk about reducing your bounce rate because I'm sure it goes without saying that if people visit your website and then immediately or within a few seconds bounce back to Google, then you look through the results again, then clearly your website wasn't what they wanted. And if people aren't enjoying your content, then clearly you're ranking for the wrong keyword. Clearly you shouldn't be ranking for that keyword if people are clicking onto it and bouncing back. So what I want to cover in this video is how do you increase the time that is spent on your website and browsing through your content. Well, there's a few different ways of doing it, but the main thing comes down to just hooking them. So as soon as they see your content, you want to hook them in and make them enjoy your content. Now, granted that if you're ranking for pink fluffy elephants and you're selling cars, you're probably not gonna get much traction. So obviously have good keyword research, but that kind of comes hand in hand anyway. If you're gonna rank for a term, you probably need to be relevant to it anyway. And I don't know why I said pink fluffy elephants as an example, just came to my head. So the main thing is you need to hook them fast, and there's a few ways of doing that. So the first way is to tell them exactly what they're gonna get from reading your page immediately. So when they see the content, and by the way guys, this is like white hat stuff, so don't judge me, but this is going to help you reduce that bounce rate, and that is actually an important indicator once you rank. So not really so much before that, but once you start ranking, it's going to become important. So you may as well do it while you're setting up your site, while you're creating all your initial content, if you put in actually effort into it and creating quality content. So what you want to do is tell them what they're going to get from reading your page. So in the first paragraph, just say, here's exactly what you're going to learn, here's exactly what you're going to get out of reading this content. I like to do this in my articles where it basically just starts off straight, like, here's exactly what you're going to learn. If you watch my Lion Zero Show interviews, every single one of them has a list of like 3 or 4 bullet points of exactly what they're going to learn from watching the video. So rather than just saying, here's this episode and just letting people watch it, I'm hyping it up a little bit by telling them exactly what they're going to learn from it so that it gets their curiosity and makes them want to watch it ultimately. Another thing is to make it extremely simple to read and consume. So that means images and stuff like that. Firstly, videos, images and stuff, make it a lot more easier to consume. But the biggest thing of all, guys, is paragraphs. If you write a 1,000 word article and there's no paragraphs in there, it is just horrible to read. I'm sure you guys have seen this on Facebook when you see a Facebook comment and the person doesn't know how to use paragraphs on Facebook, and it is just like a mess. Like it's just scary to look at. You're gonna look at it and think, I ain't reading that, and just click back and go straight back and find another site. So make sure you do paragraphs. I like to have paragraphs of like 2 or 3 sentences and just keep it really short and easy to read. This is, again, white hat stuff. Like, if you want to create great content, this is the rules you need to follow anyway. If you read my blog, it's going to be the same sort of thing, like 2 or 3 sentences per paragraph. So it's very, very easy to read through and consume ultimately. You're not looking at a big like wall of text. It's very easy to read through and consume. The next thing that I recommend you guys doing is using what we call bucket brigade. So this is a copywriting term that you may not be familiar with, but what I'm going to do is show a few examples below this video. But basically it's things like this where you basically tease them to read the next sentence or read the next part of content. So you can put something like, as if that's not enough, and then you explain more. So good news. If you see good news, that means good news is going to be there. So you want to read on to see what the good news is. Or it's even something really basic like here's why, or meanwhile, or nevertheless. Understand that when you see this, you want to see the part after it. So PBNs are great for local client sites, for ranking local client sites. Here's why. Then you want to read the here's why part, presuming you're interested in that topic anyway. So you want to basically use these things to get people to continue reading. Use these throughout your sentences and really just integrate them and use it to really get people reading. So they're not going to read one sentence, then it's going to like kind of cut off and not really make them read the next part. So this is really like copywriting stuff, and I'm sure any good copywriter will use this anyway, because the most important thing in copywriting is that people actually read your sales letter or your marketing message or whatever it is. So the same thing really applies here. This is going to reduce your bounce rate, and it's going to make your content much more appealing. So just think about how you can use these. If you have your writer, then just tell them about these and make sure that they're including them in their sentences. If someone reads a sentence on your website and it doesn't compel them to read the next sentence, it kind of just cuts off, or even a paragraph, they get like halfway down the page and it just kind of cuts off and doesn't really compel them to read the rest of it, then you're going to find that people are going to read halfway through the article, then they're going to either stop reading or they're going to switch to like skimming, because there's not really they don't really feel the need to read every single paragraph. Whereas if you kind of run it in a way that kind of leads them into the next one, into the next one, into the next one, they're going to read every single paragraph, reducing your bounce rate and just making your content better. So if you promoting a affiliate offer, then it's more likely they're going to convert. If you're promoting a client and getting them to call the client, then it's more likely they're going to convert there as well. So hope that makes some sense there. But that is really about it for this video, guys. There's nothing really that fancy, but basically bucket brigade. So using these words here, these phrases, to get people to continue reading your content and making it simple to read, like paragraphs and images and headlines and stuff like that. And then also just straight up telling them, hey, here's what you're going to learn from reading this article. Hey, here's what you're going to get out of reading this. And just being straight up right at the beginning and making it really easy to consume. You can use like bullet points and stuff like that, just to make it easy, just to make them know what they're getting out of it, so they know exactly if it's relevant for them, and it should be if you're ranking for those keywords anyway. So that is really all there is for this video, but these little basic content tweaks is going to massively decrease your bounce rate, and that's going to help you just retain your rankings ultimately. So yeah, hope this video helps, and I'll see you in the next one.